Hi, my name is Chioza, and today I'm doing my task 4B, which are practical demonstrations for strength, flexibility, endurance, power and speed exercises. So from here, I'm going to start off with some strength exercises, starting with the lat pull down. This is the lat pull down machine. The lat pull down machine is used for lateral pull down exercises, which work out your latissimus dorsi muscle, which is the muscle that starts from here and goes all the way to your back. I'll be working the latissimus pull down with the wide grip. This is how you work. This is how you hold the machine, with the wide grip. And you sit down, make sure you're nice and comfortable. I've already adjusted my foot support and making sure that your feet are flat on the ground. You look to the ceiling, raising your chest up higher, and making sure you've got your back is slightly arched so that you can bring the bar to the top of your chest like this. When breathing, in the upward phase, you're exhaling. In the downward phase, you're inhaling. In this exercise, allow yourself, your arms to fully stretch so you get a full range of motion so that the latissimus dorsi muscle is fully stretched and fully worked out. That is the lat pull down. This is the shoulder press machine. The shoulder press machine is an example of a strength exercise machine which works your shoulders, especially the deltoid muscles. With the shoulder press machine, you need a good sitting position. You need to be comfortable to make sure that you're in a good sitting position, as I will show now. You need to make sure that your back is nice and straight with the back pad, making sure that you do not arc, so make sure that your back is nice and straight. Get your feet up, which you can use is to push back, to make sure that your back also is in touch, is in contact with the back seat, right? Being an adjustable machine, you can start by adjusting the height so that your arms are in the perfect position to lift the bars, right? And also making sure that when you lift the machine, your arms come straight down, right? And are not too far back, behind your back, but are slightly, or just in line with your back. So when you adjust the weight to get the favorable weight, this is how you lift, and this is how you use the shoulder press machine, right? The upward movement, the downward. Keeping your arms in line with your back. The upward movement, the downward. Exhaling as you go up. Inhaling downwards through your nose. Shoulder press machine, make sure, like I said earlier, that you do not arc your back. Otherwise, you end up not working your shoulders effectively, and you end up injuring your back, putting yourself in a position of injury, like this. This should not be done with the shoulder press machine, but make sure your back is in contact with the back pedal, your head is nice and upright, facing forward, your arms are straight and in line with your back, in line with your chest as well, making sure that your arms have got a tight grip, and when you lift, you breathe and exhale. Depending on the level of fitness, the weight can always be adjusted to suit the level of fitness of the individual. That's the shoulder press machine. This is the barbell bench press machine. The barbell bench press machine is a chest exercise machine working the pectoralis major muscles. For form and how the machine is used, I will illustrate now. Sitting on the bench, you make sure that you lie on the bench nice and flat, bringing your legs up on top of the bench. The reason for bringing your legs up on top of the bench is to make sure that your back is nice and flat onto the bench. Right? For the weight, this weight is governed obviously by the level of fitness of the individual. For the grip, the bar itself has two markers on either side, which I will use as markers for my grip. To lift the bar, this is how it's done. The bar should be lifted slightly in front of your chin, making sure that when it comes down, it's coming down to the top of your chest and your arms. By the time the bar is nearly touching the top of your chest, your arms are at a 90-degree angle. And then you push up. Slow movement down, quick push up. Slow movement downwards, quick push up. Breathing is an important part of the exercise, so make sure when the bar is coming down, you are inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. The barbell bench press machine, when the weight is increased and the number of reps are reduced, you're now working on strength. And when the amount of weight is reduced and the number of reps increased, it's now endurance. This is the barbell bench press machine. This is the tricep dip machine. This is an example of a strength exercise machine working the triceps, which is the muscle behind your bicep in your arms. The tricep dip machine allows you to select the appropriate weight through this rack, which has a pin. This pin, once you select your appropriate weight, the weight depending on the level of fitness of the individual, you lock it in. For form, this is how the tricep dip machine is used. Once you get into a sitting position, you press this bar down, right? Keeping your arms nice and straight, your elbows locked. You make sure that your abdomen is nice and tight to the front pad. Looking up, you bring your chest forward, right? And then you push down your arms, allowing for the full range of motion for your arms and making sure that there's nice resistance on your triceps. And as usual, breathing is an integral part of exercise. So you're exhaling in the upward phase, that is when you're pushing down the weight through your mouth, inhaling through your nose, that is the tricep dip machine. The next strength exercise that I'm going to illustrate is the barbell bicep curl. The barbell bicep curl works the bicep. This is the bicep muscle on top of the tricep, right? The bicep brachii and the bicep brachialis. For form, this is how it's done. This is how you lift your barbell, making sure you keep your back straight, you squat down, open your legs, get a nice wide grip, show the length, which you can mark using your arms on either side of the bar, your fingers, sorry. We lift the bar with the straight back and adjust. Once nicely adjusted, making sure you're keeping your back straight, your elbows nice and tight to your body. You bring it up and down. Up in an arc and down. Up and down in an arc. Breathing is an important part of exercise. So you exhale as you come up. Inhaling through your nose and your way down. Sideways. And when bringing the bar down, same as when you brought it up, making sure your back is nice and straight. You squat, keeping your back nice and upright. That is the barbell bicep curl. The barbell bicep curl, for a variation, you can do the hammer curl, the seated hammer curl. Set it nice and comfortable on a bench with your back straight and tight onto your back. You can use dumbbells, lifting your arms into an arc, down, exhaling on your way up, inhaling on the way down. That is the bicep hammer curl. The next exercise that I'm going to illustrate is the plank. The plank is a good example of a strength exercise for your abdomen. Lying flat on the mat or on the ground, you bring your elbows, right? Put them shoulder width apart. Put your toes onto the ground, making sure they're nice and tight, right? You lift your body off the ground, making sure your body is nice and flat and in line, right? You should not be too raised or too low so that your spine is in a nice and straight position and the exercise is nice and felt in your abdomen. This can be done for beginners, maybe 20 seconds to 30. Otherwise, those who are nice and fit can take it up to a minute. That is the plank exercise. The next leg strength exercise that I'm going to illustrate is the leg extension using the leg extension machine. This machine allows you to adjust your weight through this rack via the pin on this side. So you get the appropriate weight depending on the level of fitness of the individual. You can also adjust the leg groove using this pad, which is an adjustable pin by lifting this pin. You can then further adjust the sitting position through this back pad, which is movable, until you find the perfect sitting position. Once you have your perfect weight and the perfect sitting position, this is how you sit. Making sure you're nice and comfortable, facing forward, your back straight on the pad, leaving no room for an arc, so you arc your back, keeping your back on the pad at all times, right? For balance, you can put your hands on top of your quads, or if the machine has handles on the sides, you can grip the sides, right? So this is how you lift, and this is how you perform the leg extension exercise. Quick up, slow down. Quick up, slow down. Quick up, slow down. Exhaling on your way up through your mouth. Inhaling through your nose on your way down. For progression, and obviously try to modify the exercise depending on the level of fitness and depending on the exercise that you want to do and what you want to achieve. If you increase the weight and reduce the number of reps, that's strength work. But if you increase the reps and decrease your weight, that's endurance. That's the leg extension. The next leg exercise I'm going to demonstrate is the leg curl. The leg curl using this machine, the leg curl machine, and the leg curl mainly works the hamstring muscle, right, and your glutes. So it's the hamstring muscle that is worked mainly by this machine. This machine allows you also to adjust the weight through this pin and rack. So once the appropriate weight is selected, right, you come this side and you lie flat on your tummy on this machine, right, in this position, making sure your Achilles are under the padding, right. For support, this machine has bars which your arms can hold on to. Right, make sure that everything is nice and flat and in position. Right, it's a slow lift upwards. Breathing is still important, so you're exhaling on your way up through your mouth and inhaling through your nose on your way down. That is the leg curl for your hamstrings. The next leg strength exercise that I'm going to demonstrate is the calf raise. The calf raise works the calf muscle. This is the calf muscle. Muscle behind your leg, just underneath the knee joint. In the absence of a calf raising machine or the seated calf raising machine, right, you can still find a raised box or a raised platform. In the instance I'll be using this bench, right? You get onto it, stepping on your toes, making sure that your body is nice and upright. I'll be using these two bars for balance, to make sure that my body is nice and balanced and all that my weight is now resting on my heels. Right? In the upward face, right, I make sure that when I'm breathing, I'm exhaling through the mouth, and when I'm inhaling, I'm breathing through my nose. So this is how the calf raise is done. So it's up, down, quick up, slow down, quick up, slow down, quick up, slow down, quick up, slow down. And like I said, the variations to the calf raise Well, the variations to the standing calf raise is the seated calf raise, or you can use the machine, which unfortunately is not working at this moment in time, or you can use, while you're on the ground, you can use dumbbells as added weights to add variation and also to the exercise. That's the calf raise. This is a stationary spin bike. This is an example of an endurance exercise machine, right? For endurance, cycling is one of the best ways to do endurance and to enhance cardio, right? So when starting off with cycling, the important thing is to make sure that the seat is in the right position. Now, one way to measure the seat height is measuring with your waist height, right? So this one has got an adjustable seat position. So it's important to start making sure that the saddle is in the right position, right? When the saddle is in the right position, almost like I said, height with the measure, being level with the height of your waist, it's important that you take a proper sitting position and making sure that you're nice and comfortable facing the front. When you start to pedal, make sure that your footwork is nice and attached to the pedals so that you do not slip when you start to pedal. But when you're nice and ready, make sure your arms are nice and comfortable as well. Your seating is nice and proper. When you start to pedal, make sure that your hips are not moving from side to side. When your hips start to move from side to side, it means that the saddle is way too high. Right. For endurance training, for beginners, you're looking at 10 to 20 minutes cycling continuously. For intermediate, you're looking at 20 to 30 minutes. However, for those who are fit, you can take this on as far as 60 minutes non-stop. Joining speed classes is a perfect way to raise your endurance level and your cardiovascular and aerobic levels. That's the stationary spin bicycle. This is a rowing machine. This is an example of an endurance exercise machine, right? I'll get onto the rowing machine, show you how to properly position yourself and make sure you're in a comfortable sitting position to begin. First things first, you have to make sure your feet are nice and comfortable so you can adjust the footwork, the foot pedals, to make sure your feet are nice and tight. Do that for the other one, the other leg. Strap it in, right? Before you start, this is an electric controlled machine, so you can turn it on. You have the options of setting time. You have an option of setting the distance you want to travel. You have the option of setting time and distance at the same time, and shut off as soon as you decide time or distance is required in this situation. So you grab hold of the handles, making sure you keep your back upright and straight, looking forward. You pull back and make sure the handle reaches your chest. Keeping your back upright, roll back, pull up. Roll back, and 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 pull up. Keep making sure your body posture is maintained in an upright position, because the moment you arch your back, you will not be getting the desired result, and you will not be working efficiently. Right? The distance and time that one can set on this machine is dependent on the level of fitness of the individual. Therefore, a beginner can go as far as 5 minutes, right? 5 to 10 minutes, and the intermediate, you can take it up to 10 to 15 minutes, depending on the level of fitness of the individual. The rowing machine is a multi-joint exercise machine. So you get more workouts out of this machine compared to the bicycle. That is the rowing machine. Skipping is another example of cardio endurance exercise. Skipping is good for aerobic exercises, and combined with the bike, combined with the rowing machine, they're good for your cardio. The proper form for skipping is to make sure that when you're holding your skipping rope, it has to start behind you, keeping your elbows as close to your body as possible, with your wrist making sure they're nice and flexed. And when you start jumping, make sure you're bouncing off your toes or better off the balls of your feet, like this. Depending on the level of fitness of the individual, you can either set a target with regards to the number of skips, or you can use time. Now, for beginners, you don't want to set any targets, mainly because you want to concentrate on form and make sure that the individual is skipping properly. So, skipping as an endurance exercise is another fantastic way to keep fit. The next strength exercise that I'm going to demonstrate is a tummy or abdomen exercise, the crunching. Lying down on a mat, making sure your back is nice and flat. You bring the heels towards your bottom, leaving enough space just to fit your palms between your heels and your bottom, right? You then bring your hands onto your quads, right? Making sure your shoulders are nice and tight and touching the ground as well, right? The intention is to lift your head and shoulders off the ground, right? With your knuckles, your fingers, touching the other side of your knees, right? So this is how it's done. So making sure that you're in a comfortable position, your heels are your palms apart to your buttocks, hands to your quads, will start the lift of the crunching. Breathing is always important in any exercise. So exhaling on your way up, inhaling on your way down. When doing this exercise, make sure that your feet are not moving, because as your feet move, you tend to lose shape, and the form of the exercise is not done properly. As a variation to the crunching, you can put your hands on the back of your head and lift your head towards the ceiling. That's the crunching. The next exercise that I'm going to demonstrate is the power and speed exercise. The power squat using the box is an exercise that you use to strengthen and gather pace, strength and speed in your quads. I'll illustrate. Just like you're squatting, you want to make sure when you jump onto the box, you're landing with both feet flat. That means when you land, both feet must be flat, like so, and then you land in a squatted position. Right? Your back must be upright, making sure you take care of your back. It must be upright. Basically in this stance, right? I will have strength. So it's a jump off the ground onto the box, right? And down. Up. And down. Up. And down. Up. And down. And down. The number of reps for this exercise is obviously determined by the level of fitness of the individual. You can start with 5 to 6 reps for the beginner. You can take it up to 10 for those as you get fitter and fitter. But those who are fit, you can take it all the way to 15. That's the power squat. The next power and speed exercise that I'm going to demonstrate is the burpee. The burpee also strengthens your quads, your hamstrings, your shoulders, because you're using all these muscles to push up the ground in one part of the exercise, right? So I'll demonstrate. First, I'll walk through the process slowly. You want to get down. When you land, you have to press up position, slowly going down. When you push with your arms, bring your feet in, and then you spring up with your legs, right? So I'll demonstrate once again, slowly. So you're going down, pushing out, press up position, pushing up, coming in, and using your legs for spring, right? So I'll demonstrate in a much quicker way, right? It's down, up, right? Down, up, down, up. One important thing about the burpee is to make sure that you've got soft landing so that you take care of your knees, right? So I'll do that once again. That's the burpee. The next power and strength exercise that I'll demonstrate, right, is the splitting lunge. The splitting lunge is a combination of the normal lunge, right, the normal forward lunge, there, right, that's the normal lunge, right. Watch how my body posture is maintained in an upright position. My knee, right, is headed towards the ground. My front foot is in the right angle, right? This is the normal lunge coming up, right? The normal lunge, up. The normal lunge, up. However, with the splitting lunge, it's now continuous with both front and back foot alternating. Is how I illustrate, right? So it's 1, 2. It's also important to make sure that you're maintaining an upright posture in the whole exercise for your balance, right? Making sure as you go down, your front foot maintains that right angle and your back foot maintains the right angle as well. Like as I said, you maintain an upright posture facing forward. That's the split lunge. The next exercise for power and speed that I'll demonstrate is the astride exercise. The astride exercise involves jumping, right, either side of the bench, right? However, for balance, you have to be holding one end of the bench, right? Your hands locked up straight, right? And putting your feet together, you're jumping from side to side, right? Like this, right? Once you have the form, you can then pick up your pace. Keeping your back nice and straight. This is a good exercise for your legs. It also involves the calf muscles as you absorb the impact when you land. And remember also, if you're doing jumping exercises, car exercises, you want to land softly so you take care of your knees. This is the stride, power and speed exercise. The following exercises that I'll illustrate from now on are for flexibility. Flexibility exercises are exercises that you can do on a daily basis. For example, if you're a sports person, you want to make sure you warm first, right, before each and every sporting activity that you do, right, so that you can stretch a warm muscle as opposed to a cold muscle. Even in your day-to-day life, even if you're not involved in sport, you want to make sure that you warm up first before you start flexibility, stretching, and exercises. The first exercise that I'll demonstrate is for your groin. The groin is very important to sports people. So, one exercise is the side to side with one leg. It's the side stretch with the leg extension. Right? You want to start in this position, right? Keeping your foot to the ground, right? Using this arm to push out your opposite leg on the knee, right? So as you push out, you're supposed to feel your groin stretch here, right? You're supposed to feel it stretch on the one side, right? You're not supposed to go further than the point of discomfort. If you feel that you're having pain, feel that you stretched a bit too far than normal, right? You can stop, right? And then do it again. This time, try and push up to at least 30 seconds for each stretch and each position. When 30 seconds is passed, you can change sides. The important thing about flexibility exercises is that you maintain balance. Because when you lose balance, you do not know which direction you will go, and you end up tearing a muscle because you'll have overstretched it. Once again, try and push out with your arm. Make sure you feel that side of the groin stretching as well. Try and keep your foot as flat on the ground as possible. And importantly, the one important aspect about any flexibility exercise is breathing. If you maintain a steady rhythm in terms of breathing, right, taking in deep breaths, you can actually start to feel the muscle extending and importantly loosening. Right, that's one way of stretching your groin. The next flexibility exercise I'll demonstrate is the hip flexor exercise, stretching your hip flexor. The hip flexor is found in this part of the body, just above the quad, right? The hip flexor tightens because of activity. The hip flexor can also tighten due to lack of stretching, especially after a training session, after a running session. So it's important that all these parts of the body are stretched, right? I'll start off with this stretching this side. So, imitating the lunge position, keeping my body upright, my back leg down on the ground. I'll push my hip forward, keeping an upright posture. You start to feel the pain or the stretch or the discomfort in this region. Right? Hold it for 30 seconds, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And when 30 seconds is done, swap. Now I'll be working this one. Making sure your bottom area is pushing forward, but maintaining that right angle with your front foot. Maintaining an upright posture, looking forward. Breathing as usual. It's a key component of stretching. If you're not comfortable with kneeling down, right, the hip flexor exercise can also be done in a standing position, staying upright again, right, making sure your back foot is assisting your hips and pushing forward, and you still feel it's there. So sideways position, when you're standing. Your hips pushing forward, with your knees slightly dropping down. Breathing. 30 seconds. That's the hip flexor stretch exercise. The next stretching exercise, next stretch and flexibility exercise that I'll do is for your quads. Your quads are an essential part of your leg, right? So stretching, you can do the hurdle, right? Sit down, either on the mat, straight on the floor. One leg straight out. Put this one in that position, right? Looking forward. You can try and lean slightly forward and feel this muscle stretching, right? Keep it nice and upright position. Try and lean forward, right? In the hurdle, never drop down. This is not a independent position to drop down like this, because what you then do is you might end up overstretching and pulling your quad muscle, which is a dangerous thing to do. So you want to make sure you're nice and upright, right? Feel the muscle stretching, right? Breathing, and hold it for 30 seconds. And then change. The other leg, square the front view, you're in this position. As if you're doing the 110 meter hurdles. That is the hurdle for your quads. The next flexibility exercise that I'll demonstrate is stretching my hamstring. Right? The hamstring muscles are very, very, very important part. And it's a big muscle, so it's very important and it needs to be stretched on a regular basis, before and after activity. Right? So you can, the one exercise that I'll demonstrate is using a raised portion. Right? So what I'll do is I'll raise my leg, right, with my toes facing to the ceiling or to the sky, right? When I do that, I want to make sure my upper body is straight, upright, because I want to maintain this upright posture as I go down. Right, so I'll slowly start to push forward. Right, up to a point of mild discomfort. Hold it for 30 seconds while breathing. Through breathing, I can actually feel it loosening up. I can stretch it a little further. After 30 seconds, you can release it. Right, swap legs. Same principle, toe facing to the ceiling or sky. Upper body nice and straight. Right, not bending the knee. Right, keeping it locked. Keep the whole foot nice and straight. Begin to lean forward. Do not arc your back. It's important. Straightening your back helps to pull the hamstring through the hip. So you want to maintain that position in an upright, with your back in an upright position. Right? And you slowly lean forward. As I breathe, I can actually feel it loosening. After 30 seconds, you release. Right? And if you feel still, if you feel you're still stiff, if you're not loosen up again, you can restart the same exercise and do it all over again. The following stretching exercise is called the mat cobra. It's a lower back stretching exercise. So you start off lying flat out on the mat on the floor, alright, making sure your toes are nice and flat on the ground. Alright, you bring your arms forward, just about shoulder width, right? Facing the front, you begin to slowly push your shoulders and your upper body up. Depending on the level of flexibility, you can fully extend your arms. But if you're not in a position to do that, you can leave your elbows in a slightly bent position. Alright? Hold it for 15 to 20 seconds. Then bring it down slowly. Right? As you go up again, you breathe. Try to take this further than the first position you were in. Breathing. As you breathe in, feel the lower back muscles loosening. And drop it down again. The next flexibility exercise I'll demonstrate is the C curve. The C curve is a lower back stretching exercise and it's performed as such. Sitting in a sit-up position on the floor, on the mat, bring your arms interlock them under your knees, right? Making sure your elbows are pointing in the opposite direction, sideways, right? You arch your backs, right? So making sure there's a C curve on your back, right? And then you go down. Pull it to do as many reps as you can. Do a little back stretch, and then you can repeat. The next couple of stretching exercises are for the upper body. I'll start off with the shoulder, right? You bring one arm across, right? And then you bring the other hand, the free hand, onto the elbow area, right? In that region, the hand that's holding the elbow is supposed to be pulling towards the chest, right? And the arm that is being stretched is pushing, right? So there's a push and pull effect, right? Hold that for 30 seconds. Right? You do the same for the opposite arm. Bring it across your chest. Get the free hand onto just behind your elbow, the elbow joint, right? Pull with the hand that's on the elbow, and the arm that is being stretched is pushing, right? So everything should shoulder level, just above the chest. Over for 30 seconds. Still feeling tight, you can also repeat the exercise, right? The next exercise that I'll show or demonstrate is stretching the tricep, right? At this point in time, the arm is going back, right? And pushing, pulling, right? There's that push and pull effect still. The arm that is being stretched is pushing forward, and the hand that is holding the elbow is pushing backwards. So you should feel the stretch at this part. Right? Do the same for the opposite hand. Breathing is important, so make sure you're breathing. Feel the muscles loosening. Let's push and pull. and release. The next exercise that I'll demonstrate is stretching your bicep, right? Grabbing your palm, keeping your arm straight, right? You get to pull the palm with the pulling hand, and the one that is being stretched is keeping in a straight elbow, right? Keeping it locked. The stretch will be felt in your bicep as you pull your fingers further and further backward. When 30 seconds is up, do the same for the other hand. Holding your palm, straightening the elbow, begin to push. Push and pull. The wrist, right, must be nice and flexible so that it can allow your palm to stretch forward and allow the forearm to pull the muscles of the bicep. Those are upper body stretches.